All right. Good morning, everyone. How are y'all doing today? Just a quick
Hey
reminder.
Chuck, if my video starts flashing, I'll just shut it down, okay? But for some reason it was flashing in and out, driving me crazy. How
Yeah, it
you
looks
doing,
like
Chuck?
I'm doing great, Tom. It looks like video's doing great. We should remind everybody if you want to follow along with what Tom is doing. A couple of nice closeouts this morning. Make sure you go to dtitrader.com/telegram and of course dtitrader.com/YouTube.
Hey
Uh,
Chuck, looks like Rick is trying to get into the silver wheel. Well, Rick, will you put your phone number and we'll make somebody call you because we got the meeting at 1:15, okay? We or 1 o'clock when the meeting is. Make sure you put your phone number in here, nobody else will see it. We'll have somebody call and take your order. You see that, Chuck? You got to pay attention to these customers. Will
yeah,
you make
we
sure,
will
Jonathan, that somebody calls him?
we will definitely get that sorted. Now, quick reminder there's a very high degree of risk involved in trading. You and you alone are responsible for the trading decisions you make. Past performance is not indicative of future results. And Tom, we've got a couple big news items to hit for setting up this week. So let's go ahead and take a look at those. Now, kind of simple bullets here geopolitics. We got a lot going on. Tariff discussion over the weekend. That's one of the reasons you saw the market drop. Um, you got to wait to see how that comes out. We also have uh, the possibility of a government shutdown at the end of this week. So that's a little concern for the market. So we see where some of those concerns are, which, by the way, might be one of the reasons you see metals performing so well, kind of a hedge against.
Well, you can give
Uh,
it a lot of reasons, Chuck, but the main reason is that there's a worldwide shortage and
yeah.
it's in use of so many different products. I think these companies realize just how to factor it in. I mean, you'll have little bumps because of what you just said, but generally speaking,
Oh yeah,
it's
no, it's definitely bullish. It gets
yeah.
accelerated every now and then because of some of the headlines. When we go to earnings, Tom, we got some big earnings coming up. This is kind of the heart of earnings season, and I'm looking through. I see what on Wednesday. Wednesday is when it really kicks off. Microsoft, Meta, and Tesla, and then the following day on Thursday, you've got Apple. We've got ExxonMobil on Friday. That should be. I mean, we're just gonna have a lot of fun this week with earnings. And in the middle of this week, also on Wednesday, you've got the FOMC, and we pretty much know that there's not going to be a change to rates. What people are looking for is how many dissenting votes come out. So when you're reading the FOMC announcement, scroll down to the bottom and see voting against, and that's going to be the big headline. Tells us something about where we're moving forward. How much confidence does the board have in its leadership? I think that's going to be one of the big questions. I know, Tom, you have some feelings on that. So those are probably the three main bullets to pay attention to. And then when we get to the market itself, opened lower, you got metals high. The futures indices, the S&P has already traded higher than last week's high. So it's I got to look at the market and say this is bullish, and then I got to look at what's coming up and say I've got some questions about can it stay that way.
Yeah, I
So
think
let's
you're
get the
right,
next
Chuck. You
slide.
just got,
Yeah.
what you got to do. One thing, somebody asked me this question about silver. They said, Tom, how high do you think it's going to go? I said, it's not how high I think it's going to go. It's you got to know when the music stops, and you do that through numbers. And these numbers are we use them for every market. And and I just think that when you keep things down to numbers, it takes the emotionalism out of the trading. Everybody here is an emotional animal. Hey, I feel good. Oh, I feel bad. Oh, look how happy I am. Look how sad I am. The thing about trading successfully is you've got to be non-emotional. You got to have numbers. And the only way I can figure out if I'm going to stay in a trade or get out of a trade is the numbers. And I can give you a classic case. Okay. You can take Apple Computer. Everybody knows I love Apple Computer, but when it broke its monthly open and then broke its 3-day low, there's no way I'd want to buy Apple Computer here in January, regardless of what I heard. I might buy if they change it to Apple Silver, but that's okay. I don't think they're going to do that, but that's just a joke. But the whole point is use the number. You know, Chuck is the master of numbers, and he's got a great feature he puts out every day called the pre-market planner. If you're new to trading, you really ought to use that and print it off. It'll help you understand what's going on. And he's the reason the market's bullish today, the way we look at it, is because it's higher than RB3, which happened between 9:30 and 10. These are the kind of things that will make you better at this game of trading. My opinion is, if you're smart, you listen. If you're really smart, you apply what we have learned over the years from the School of Hard Knocks. Because we didn't get here without losing a lot of money to figure out what not to do. Learn from us. We'll tell you, don't do this, don't do that. The bottom line is, when you traded as long as Chuck and I have, and Jonathan and all of us, we've made some mistakes over time. But we also know that if you follow what we teach you and learn the reference bar approach, learn the DTI approach, you're going to be so much better off if you read every book in the universe about trading. It's so good. And we got some white papers. Jonathan got a lot of new people in here. Publish the white papers in the chat room where we can give that to him. Great reading. And then if you're here, ask questions. That's my opinion. Now, today we're releasing our newsletter. It's $9.99. In this newsletter, we look at the broad market. We cut through the noise there. We look at news. Chuck gives us to us every day, the great news. The key earnings to watch, got 4 big boys going this week, Apple being one of them. The magic 5 stocks. Each week we handpick 5 stocks that have strong setups and have unusual option activity that allows you to make a little green with these stocks. And of course, any special opportunity we see, we'll call it to your attention in our Monday newsletter. It's $9.99. We got a bunch of subscribers to it, and I don't have the heart to raise the price on it. I did it for a joke to make it $9.99, and now we're just growing. Maybe I'll leave it $9.99. Take advantage of it. Train and trade. We meet every day, hopefully at 11. Today we had to postpone because I was in the opening playbook with Nate's group, and a lot of you came over, I hope. Okay. We care about you doing well, and you will find out I'm real big on what I call the scholarship approach, where if you listen to what I do and listen to how I do it when I'm live, you can take what I call the uneducated money and pay for your education with us. That's our goal. Roger just posted in there. He's a great student of ours out of Texas. Now, all train and trade trades I do are done. I do live trading in here, and we posted in our 24-hour trade room, our T-Buzz Talk and Trade Telegram channel. I'm up there at 5 o'clock in the morning putting out the layout for each day, the pivot number, which was 69.15. I'd say that was a good timely pivot, wouldn't you, Chuck? When you're sitting here at 69.85, let people know early. This is a big one. Get long.
Yeah, okay. It certainly works well. The market really followed through on that one.
Absolutely. All right, Jonathan, this is your section. What do you got for us?
I just updated a few minutes ago. You got really the market bouncing back. That's the NASDAQ is back above its FTD high, 25,904. The FTD high was 25,837. So that's good to see. We got how many more days we got left in the month? Till the end of this week, I guess.
Yeah, Friday is the last trading day of the month.
Okay. Of course, gold and silver have been bullish all month long after the first 3 days. As of a moment ago, gold's 50.81, silver futures almost
And
114.
let me make a comment. Notice it said go long above 81 on silver. And most people at that time were reading articles in the newspapers, silver's overdone, it's going to fall. Well, when it got above 81, we started getting very aggressive after those first 3 days. And look where it is today. Is that, no, it's at 113.86?
Yep, sure is.
Pretty wild.
Yeah. As we scroll down the list, Tom, we got indexes long. We've got XL, what is this? XLF short. Bunch of gold and silver long, of course. What is this right here? That's Apple, still short. Google Metal long. AMD, Micron, those four there have been long all month, pretty much, or most of the month. APP short, Walmart long, General
Yeah,
Motors.
could you speak up a little bit? I'm having trouble hearing you.
Sure. Sure. I think for the first time in a while, Tom, that computer you got there is louder than you normally are. I keep myself lower so I don't overtalk you. That should be better. Goldman or General Motors is short. JP Morgan is short. Citigroup is short. Nuclear, NNE, is long. This spreadsheet here is a link that we use every single day. We keep it updated. There's the link right there. Bookmark it to your favorite web browser. It's not going to change all year, but I will update it when we get to February. How we hope you use this at the very least. If you're not going to use this seriously every month like we hope you do, at the very least, we hope you look at this and say, if a stock is short, I'm going to throw that off my buy list for the month. If you use it in just one way, use it that way. But you can use this to find plenty of opportunities. These are all the stocks that Tom is looking at closely for the month, and we will update it as the month go along. Hey, before we go on, Trader, who just posted the chat, type your name and your phone number so we know who you are and we know how to contact you. And I'll ask Kelly Barber or Jeffrey Andraka to reach out to you and get you involved with the Silver Wheel.
The demand for my silver wheel is off the charts. These people that work in sales are having trouble, getting everybody hooked up because I'm kicking it off today at 1. We start rolling the wheel today at 1. So anyway, we got things, cooking with gas. All right,
Thanks,
credit
Patrick.
put spreads. Let's talk about that section of options. Make sure everybody understands. All right, introduce you to credit put spreads. There's a strategy behind credit put spreads. What is a credit put spread? An option strategy when you're bullish on something or at least neutral on a stock and want to get paid up front for taking defined risk. So what does that mean? Well, the way a credit put spread works is you're taking an obligation by selling an option, but you're at the same time you're buying an option, and that difference in that spread is the risk on that deal. So if you sell something to open at a higher strike put and buy something at a lower put, the width of that spread is your risk. It creates a net credit in your account, money going into your account. Does everybody understand that? I want you to understand that. So if I have two positions I put on and I sell a put at a higher price and buy a put below that price, I get a credit. Okay? That's the way it is. These are known as bull put spreads because it's a bullish position, meaning I expect whatever I sell a option on, a put, that the market's going to go higher. Our goal is keep all the premium. Has anybody ever, let me just ask this question, been to Las Vegas and played craps, they call it, dice? Who's played dice in Las Vegas or no dice? They have something in craps called don't pass, where you bet against the shooter, you know, throwing a 7 or 11, right? Okay, until he gets his number. Then when he gets his number, you bet he doesn't get his number. But it works the same way. You pick a stock, and that stock you pick is designed to stay, what I would say, above that price. Does that make sense? Okay. Stay above that price. Okay. Strategy characteristics. I like $half wide spreads. Receiving a minimum of 12% in premium, targeting 5 cents or lower. So when I receive 12 cents on a 50-cent wide spread, my return on risk is over 30%. How's that sound, everybody? How does that sound? A 30% return on risk. Y'all like that? I do too. Okay. Sort of characteristics. Doesn't have to be that way, but that's what I like. Now, once a put spread reaches my target level, I usually exit and roll the money into the new targeted play. Okay. If we sell a 50-cent wide spread to bring in 12% of premium, what's our max profit? 12 cents per contract, right? Pretty cool. Now, what's our max risk? If you get 12 cents on a 50-cent wide spread, you get $38 per contract. Your total risk was $50, you've taken it down to $38. What is our return on risk at max profit? 32% return on your risk. Pretty wild. Pretty good. Expiration. I like shortened expiration, so that way you're not exposed a long time. How's 2 days sound? There's many tickers that qualify for these parameters: SPX, SPY, XFP, XSP, QQQ, TLT, GLD, and SLV, just to name a few. Remember to go. Anytime you sell a put spread is for the stock to never go that short strike in the spread. The short strike is your higher strike. It says minus in your account because you got a credit. That's our goal. Any questions about that? That is called a put credit spread or a bull put, selling a vertical credit. That's called different names. That's what it is. Does everybody learn something big going through that? It's basic stuff when it comes to options, but the nice thing about it is if you know that, then you qualify for the next thing I'm going to talk about. And that's my silver wheel. Got to love that slide. Why should you join? Well, quite honestly, I just showed you one leg of a wheel, which there's 3 legs, the way I've got it designed. And it's something you can do every day between the hours of 12 and 3. 12 o'clock to 3. How much time does it take to set it up? Once you know how to go to your account, click it, both sides of it, takes about a minute. Not very much time at all. But doing this will grow your account because the odds are in your favor. No, 12 to 3, Lisa, is Eastern time, 12 to 3. This is a perfect trade if you enter in options, because new traders can do this trade right from the get-go. That's the beautiful thing about it. Now, here's some things you need to consider about silver. People think that silver is going to go down, but here's some things you need to consider about silver. I don't think it's going to go down because the numbers don't say that. And I think when you have a market like this, historically, you got to pay attention. John, if you're going to change the slide. I think it's the hottest ticker on the planet right now, so you ought to be in there. Now, silver runs in my family. Let me tell you why I say that. Take a look at the following picture. That is my granddaughter. That's back in 2012. Silver was at $30. She was playing with silver coins that her dad owned, that I gave him, that were maple leaf. Those are beautiful coins. Those coins today are worth about $125 a coin. I think she was on to something. Now, everybody might think they missed out. How many people here think silver's too high to make money? It's not. In fact, this is the time you need to be in silver when it's making these kind of moves. Five times since Olivia was holding those coins. Why gold, silver should tumble from record high? This is what Wall Street tries to do to you. They try to get you to sell out what I would call your trade. We're not going to do that. We're going to take advantage of the trade. You know why we're going to take advantage of trades? Because we do it by numbers. You know, in 1999, the Dow first hit 10,000. Y'all remember that? Now it's close to 50,000. It was a historic trade. That's just one example of many times over history where a market had a certain proposed top, and then it really become a great market. And yet many were always saying the sky was falling, never going to go higher. They drew comparisons to the great crash of 29. Bull trap, don't get in. You know, Barron's, one of the Wall Street publications, pretty decent in its own right, but even they are victim of this line of thinking. It doesn't work. Now, I don't need to tell you what the Dow's done since 1999. Silver broke out to a historic high, over $50. It went up to 50 twice, once during Bunker Hunt. You look that up on the internet. The other time it went up, and this is the great thing about it, the other time it went up was when we caught Osama bin Laden. But the great news is that, hey, we got many more days in front of them. Believe it. History of the stock market is flooded with examples of people panicking about a rally was anywhere near finished. We have numbers to tell us when the music stops. I'll teach you that, but I expect silver to be the same story, where we're still talking about it, not just this year, but next year and year after. Started a rate cycle. What does that do to silver? Pretty good for gold, but it's incredible for silver. I've always liked silver over gold, industrial use. That's a 1970, 334% in 3 years. Not bad, huh? A rate cut after that. Pay attention when all the things line up. They're lining up. How about this one? 725%, significantly more than gold. Silver shocked everyone after the COVID cut, doubling in price in less than 6 months. This week, a lot of people are home because of the snow. Look what silver's doing. If you thought for a second that silver might about to wind down, you're wrong. I want you to think again, reevaluate it. The beautiful thing about today's market, you can get in and out at any time. Now's the time to start investing in silver along with trading it. Now, I'm going to teach people about the silver wheel, concept I had, and I got a perfect market to do it. It is called the silver wheel. Silver wheel is a 3 times a week trade designed to target about $900 a month on the hottest asset on the planet. That's on $1,000. What if you put more into it? That number grows. I'm going to teach you how to do that. And I've committed for the next 30 days to hold your hand each day between 1 and 1:15 to give you the silver trade of the day on the wheel. That's quite a commitment I'm willing to make because I want everybody here to learn how to do it. Anyone with 1,000 will have a shot to make about 300 3 times a week. Pretty good stuff, isn't it? This is so good. I just want you to do it. I'm going to show you how to get it started this Monday. Today's Monday. Guess what? We're starting at 1:15, 1 o'clock. We're going to get started today. Step by step, building your wheel. And Silver Wheel will teach you how to set up 3 trades per week, each one targeting about $300. If you trade with a little more money, you can target $500 per trade. It's up to you. We'll talk about that at the class, the first master class of many, I'm assuming. Each trade is extremely affordable. Your risk is about $50 a contract. And whether you're trading big or small, whether your wheel's a small wheel or a big wheel, that's up to you. But you'll have the necessary education that we're going to commit to giving you about how this works. It's the hottest asset on the planet. We're doing everything to make it great for you. Tune in. Now, we'll be live Tuesday through Friday with you once we get the wheel moving, which means not only today, we'll be back tomorrow. We're committed as a team to make sure you get what you need to have to make it one of the best trades of your life. At 16 live sessions. By the end of the month, you should be an expert on how to do your wheel. Now, we could charge any amount of money we want to for this kind of return. We know that, but we're not. Frank just, he said his account's doubled since December. He just typed in here. He's obviously getting more of a bigger bite of the apple since he made an extraordinary amount of money on this silver. Now, David, who I'll be with later on this week, has a brother. 100% right, David? Learn what you're doing. So we're not going to charge you an arm and leg if you come in as one of my beta students. That's not what I'm going to do. As a special offer, you can join for $9.99 and learn how to make these trades for the rest of your life. That alone is worth a fortune because I'm going to show you how to apply this not only to silver, but we'll expand it later on, of course, obviously. Maybe with different programs or what, but bottom line, you will have the knowledge. $1,200 in each trade, risk capital, pay for the membership in week 1. That's about right. 3,600 total out for the week. Yeah, I got that. Now the pricing I'm offering with this kind of demand, you can tell it's at a discount. This is the biggest sell of the week based on the people lining up and getting in. That's good. Jump in. Adam, drop that link. I love these slides. Join today. Be there at 1 o'clock. We'll get ready to rock and roll. DTItrader.com/Will, 904-706-3532. If anybody has trouble calling and getting through, type your name and put your number in here. Jonathan will record that and get somebody to call you. We're not going to mess around because we start in less than an hour to go into the details of building our wheel. If you're not excited about this, I probably can't get you excited. My commitment is making sure, Brad, that you know how to do this. If you got any doubt, get joined and make it happen for yourself. This is where the best odds are at this time. We're going to do it. Show up for the wheel, learn the wheel, and let's make it happen. I said the setup's we'll do the whole wheel probably in less than 5 minutes. Can new traders do this trade? Absolutely. Get started, go to DTItrader.com/Will, call 904-706-3532. Again, if you're trying to talk to somebody and you can't get anybody on the phone, put your name, email, and email address in there. We'll put you in touch with somebody who can get you in there at 1. Put your email in there. We'll take care of it. Way to go, David. That's a good way to start this week. Peg says, I no longer have any doubts when it comes to my teachings and offers. I'm making money hand over fist since I started following Tom. Well, I tell everybody. They don't believe me. I said, hey, if you'll listen, I'll teach you how this game is played. Wouldn't you like to learn from somebody that's done it for this long and figured out what not to do? That's the way I would do it. If you got an option account and not doing the silver wheel, slap yourself in the face. Keep the right hand free because you need to go to your mouth after you wake up. No, I'm gonna get into the wheel. Hey, John. Just there. I need to see. All right, folks, you heard what I said. I'll see everybody at 1 o'clock for the actual master class. These are not day trades, Edwin. These are strategic plays that expire every 2 days. I mean, if you like 3 paydays a week, you can join me. See you. Play that song one more time. We got to hear it one more time.